So today's topic is going to be on data cleaning. So the data I'll be using is this 2017 order data. So I've imported the library I'll be using, which is Pandas. Then I assigned a variable called order. So anytime I call out order, it's going to return the data set. So in this data set, we have the order ID, the customer ID, the cookies ship, and so on. So there are some little adjustments we need to do here. For instance, look at the customer ID. The customer ID is joined together with the restaurant name. So what I'm going to do now is to split the restaurant name from the customer ID. So to do that, I'll be using a string method, which is called str.split, to separate the two columns from each other. So what we are going to do now is to call out the column name, which is customer ID. Let me run it so you can see the output. Can you see that it is a combination of the customer ID and the restaurant name, which is separated by an hyphen? So order customer ID dot str.split. So it's going, this str.split takes into argument, which is the delimiter and the expand argument. So the delimiter is always
what I want to do now
is separated with, which is the hyphen.
profit.
So my customer ID and my restaurant
and to get the profit, we need to subtract
the
revenue
from
cost
in here.
So to do that, I'm going to call
separated
out
by a comma,
the
I'm going to
column.
pass in comma or any other characters. But this one is separated by a hyphen. That is why I'm passing in this hyphen. This hyphen is a character which must be quoted. So then we have the expand equals to true. So I'm using the expand equals to true. Separate our variable name from the order customer ID. So I'm going to run the code now. So can you see it is separated? Now I have my
this is
showing
us
in a column, and I have
an
my
error.
Restaurant
Let's see
name
the error
in another
column.
The error message
let me
says
just
that
give this
a comment so you can understand what you are doing on that
type.
So
Separating
and string. So there is something wrong with that column.
So let us check the data type to confirm if the data type is correct.
So order dot dtypes using
order dot dtypes. So now we have the can you see my revenue is in floats?
So what I'm going to do now is to create a new column.
We can't subtract
what I'm going to do now is to create a new column called restaurant
object
name.
Means that column has a
but if you look at the data set, you see that we don't have any column
named
restaurant name. So I want to
this
pass in
cost has
the restaurant
name
in between my customer ID and my cookies
numbers to an object.
So I want my restaurant name to be in between my customer ID and my
a combination of float and string.
So I'll be
creating
creating
an
empty
So we need to change this cost and this
index
cost
number
data type
2
to float.
This is 0.
So we can get
So I want my restaurant name to be in between here. So that will be index number 2.
So now,
what I'm going to do now is to say
column from
order
object to float.
I'm going to call out,
then I'll pass in the new
column name, which is restaurant name.
So I'm going to pass in this as type.
But before that, since I want my restaurant
for
name
converting
to be in
data
index
type,
number 2,
use for
I have
converting
to
data
go with
types.
the insert.
So data cost, I'm calling out the column
so
name
order
here,
dot insert.
dot
So I want to
type.
insert my restaurant
so I'm going to
name
pass
in
the
position
new
number 2. So I'm going to pass
column,
in the
new
here
data type I
then
want to have there.
passing the name of my column, which is restaurant name,
which is
then
float.
you pass in the empty quote.
So let's run the
meaning
code now.
that I want my restaurant's name to be in position number 2,
an
then
error
it must be empty. So I keep using
Let me run the code.
So it is
if
order.
I call out
Our
variable
name is order. Please don't make that
notice
mistake.
that
The
our
restaurant
variable name is
now
order. Can you
appearing
see that
at
we used order
position
here?
number 2, which is 0,
So our variable
1,
name is
2.
order.
So what I'm going to
now
do next is I want to insert this
corrected
error.
So the error in
this
is
into my restaurant name and my customer ID.
What we are doing now is cleaning data.
So what I'm going to do now is
using
to
Python.
call out the 2
So now
column,
the another error is giving us is this
customer.
It's telling us that it could not convert the string to float
because
of this XXX. Meaning this XXX is the error in that cost
then
column.
I want to pass in the
So
restaurant.
let's confirm what we have in the cost column.
Name 2.
So because I'm calling out
I'm calling out 2 columns, so it has to be in double square brackets.
Unique is going to bring out the unique
Equals
values you have in that. So I'm now going to copy this answer, this code. I'm going to copy this code here, the corrected code. Then I'm going to paste it.
Can you see this is the
here.
error?
So what I just did now was to assign this corrected columns into, that is why we are unable to subtract
customer
the
ID and the
revenue from the
restaurant
cost
name. So
this
I'm going to run this.
XXXX
So if I call out
what is
order,
converting this whole
you notice
numbers to objects.
I have my
So we need to get
customer
rid of
ID
this
in the customer ID column, and I also have my restaurant name in the restaurant name.
So to get rid of that,
column,
I'm going to
which is what I'm actually
replace
trying
this
to
XXX with, let me just
0.
comment the code so you can understand what
I'm going to say
doing
order.
here.
So here we are creating a new, a new column name.
Replace equals to x, that's 5x. Then we want to replace it with value
restaurant
name. Value equals to 0, comma, in place equals to, then true. Here we are assigning. So here I'm saying that order dot replace. Whenever you are using dot replace, you are going to pass in this to replace.
Customer
order dot
ID.
replace. So to replace, you are going to pass in the error,
which is
this XXX. So I want to replace this XXXX here with 0. So in place equals to true means I'm making that change permanent. I'm making the change here permanent. In place equals to true means making the changes permanent. So the next thing we want to do now is to get the profit. So let's to get the profit, we are going to subtract our revenue from cost. Other cost. To get the profit, I'm going to subtract my revenue from cost. So I want my profit to be after the cost column. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to create a new column for the profit. As the XXX has changed to 0. So that will be. So now let's see if we can subtract the profit from. Let's see if we can convert the data type from then object to floats. So order costs. So can you see that I just created a new column named profit at position 6. Now we've successfully converted the cost from object to float. When I did it the first time, it was showing an error that we cannot convert the string to float because of this XXX. Then I replaced the XXXX with 0. After replacing it, now I can change my cost from object to float. So next thing I'm going to do now is to assign this corrected data type to the cost column by just copying this cost. This is me copying the column. So Ctrl V equals to. So what I did here is to assign this corrected data type to the column named cost. So Ctrl Enter to run it. So let's confirm our data types again. So order.d types. So revenue and cost should be in float now. Can you see? Revenue and cost are now in float. So that means I can subtract my revenue from cost to get my profits. So let's do that. So order revenue, this is me calling out the column name minus order cost. So let's see. Now, yes, this is it. We've subtracted the revenue and cost because we've changed the data type and we've replaced the error in the data type in the column. So now after getting this the subtraction, so I'm going to assign this result here to my profit column because revenue minus cost is going to give us our profits. So I'm going to call out the profit column. Profits equals to
equals to, so this is me calling out the profit column equals to the result, the answer. So I'm going to copy this answer here, the code for the answer, then I'll paste it here. So let's call out order. Now, can you see I have my profit here? Revenue minus cost is giving us the profit.